Okay, so we just got out of the post office. And when we were in the post office,
I just had to ask the guy working at the counter if you, because they sell 2-cent stamps at the post office. So I asked him if you could send letters for 2 cents, and he was like, no,
of course not, right? And then you showed him this. This letter was sent to you with a
2-cent stamp.
Can we see that too? A 2-cent stamp.
All the way from British Columbia.
And what they wrote on it was
general delivery, non-domestic, in a box.
Yeah, we can.
Underneath the box, without the U.S.
And in the back, they wrote
non-domestic without the U.S.
And the letter arrived in like what, 3 days?
In 3 days. There was even sugar packets in there and like an empty battery packet. So there was some weight in the envelope.
Sugar packet? What, just to see if you could do it?
Just to see if we could do it. And yes, you can send mail for 2-cent stamps, despite what they tell you at the post office.
When we brought this up with the guy at the post office, he was like looking at us like you're crazy, like, no, you can't do that. And then we showed him the letter and he was like,
whoa, check this out.
And then he showed it to the girl who was working there and she was like that. And we would have liked to get it on camera, but they probably wouldn't let us film in the post office. They were pretty astonished, and well, I'm astonished too, actually, but now we know we can do that. Yeah.
Save 55 cents on every letter. Because apparently it costs 57 cents to send any letter.
Yeah, and so, but
you can go through the private sector, basically, from what I understand.
So you can beat the system if you're a free man.
So there's an article online you can check out. It's called Postal Power, and in it should explain to you the secrets behind this technology. Cookie diet, that sounds terribly unhealthy.
The cookie diet. Smart for life. Smart for life. Not just thin, but smart. Would you like to lose weight eating cookies?
That sounds terrible. Rot my teeth.
I think it's more like a wafer.
It's more like a wafer. It must be.
Something like that.
Something dry.
Well, they couldn't call it the cracker diet. It wouldn't sell.
It wouldn't sell. Yeah, people like cookies, so.
Yeah, I don't know about cookies, but I like chocolate. There's this store here called Divine Chocolatier. Well, actually, maybe it's English. Divine.
Chocolatier.
Oh my god, this chocolate is so good. Karen's broke as usual, so I'm going to bribe her to come into the chocolate store with me. I'm going to bribe her with chocolate, and she's not going to regret it. Here's the store, very swanky. It's on Crescent Street. If you want to have the ultimate chocolate experience, I highly recommend it. Okay.
So we got ginger chocolate.
We got a ginger chocolate. I'm sure it's going to be divine.
It smells divine.
It's exquisite. Do you feel euphoric, Karen?
I feel like I am floating in space.
Okay, so tell me, Karen, how did you deal with the credit card people when they called you?
Well, first they were like, may I please speak to Miss Karen Spilake? And I was like, would you believe me if I said that was me? And she was like, I don't know.
Messed with her head, huh?
Yeah, it really made her think.
She's like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
And then I explained to her that I don't have a first and last name, and that I have a given name and I have a family name. And then she was like, I don't know what to do. I'm so confused.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's the idea. and then what happened?
So then I told her that, like, oh, I've been speaking to TD rep, Toronto Dominion Canada Trust representatives they keep calling me. So, and I keep telling them that I want to communicate with them in writing, and that it's kind of annoying that they keep calling me when I keep telling them that they would write them in writing. So I asked her if she could write it in my file that I want to communicate with them in writing. And she was like, well, like, I can't write that down in your file because I can't confirm that it's really you that I'm talking to. So I was like, oh boy, okay. So then I asked her for I asked her like for her supervisor's name or like who the head of the department was, and it turned out she was calling from the credit and fraud management department. So I was like, fraud, perfect. This is perfect for us to discuss. What's the name of your supervisor, the head of your department? She gave me the name, and then she gave me the phone number. And I was like, so if I call this number, will I be able to speak to him? And she was like, no. So I was like, okay, well, can I have his address so I can write to him, because I want to communicate with you guys in writing? And she wouldn't give me the address. So then I asked her, I was like, well, I told her that she was taking me away from my work and that I had stuff to do and that she was kind of bothered.
Your work being studying Black's Law Dictionary and figuring out how to deal with people like her, right?
Basically. So I asked her if my business was done with her for the day, and she said yeah. And so I wished her a nice day, and then she wished me a nice day back, and then I hung up.
Okay, but what about the part where you asked for the guy's address?
Yeah, she really didn't want to give that to me. But like, I don't understand why it would be such a big deal for her to give me the office where she works at.
I'm sure you could Google it anyway.
I'm sure I could Google it anyway, but the fact that she wasn't, like, I was asking her questions as a creditor. Creditors ask questions, debtors make statements.
Okay, but when you asked her for the when you asked her for the guy's address, she said, I can't give you that. And you said, well, then how do you expect me to correspond in writing?
Yeah.
If you won't put in my file that I want to be corresponded with in writing and you won't give me his address.
So basically I basically turned the tables around on her by asking her questions that she really couldn't help me with.
And you completely boggled her mind.
I completely boggled her mind. She was like, I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. I was like thinking in my head, it's okay, honey. I understand that you're confused, but
that was my goal. So it was a success.
It was a success. If they call me back again, I'm just gonna pull the same tactics and just keep asking them questions.